The Mommobile has changed. Back in the day, it could get away with having a bigger boot and some room for some extra kids, but these days, it needs those things plus some style and some technology and safety. And it needs to say something about the driver, other than, I drive a Mommobile. A bit like the Mercedes-Benz B-Class. Although Mercedes-Benz themselves don't like that description, which is apparent by them calling this a compact sports tourer. The second generation B is a rather extensive evolution of the more boxy original, and it now has a real style that, in my limited time with the car, is appreciated by a lot of quite different people, from moms of various ages and races to my own rather critical 40-year-old brother. Which is not surprising really, because there's not a lot to dislike here. It's a lot more sleek and less bulky than the original, and it's got some fantastic detailing. Things like the LED bits tell you this car could actually be sporty. But even if the styling doesn't match the drive, it is the classiest looking thing in its particular market segment. If you like your daily transport to feature an ability to sprout envious looks from the other people in the school parking lot, look no further than the B-Class. It is very Mercedes-Benz, this car. It manages to have its own identity, but at the same time, it features some unmistakable features of the car maker's current look. It does look kinda sporty, thanks in no small part to the new model being 5 centimeters lower than the previous one. They've dropped the seating position as well, so you sit closer to the road. Our test car has got shift paddles. It's also got a sport mode. So all of that, combined with the more aerodynamic shape and the fact that it's got sports in its name, gives you the idea that the B-Class might just offer a bit of driving fun. And it does, to a small degree. The 100 kilowatts and 300 newton meters in this B200 CDI turbo diesel is decent, but let's just say it's a lot less refined than the looks. On the upside, it seems that this is one of those rare cars that might actually live up to the manufacturer's fuel consumption figures. The paperwork from Mercedes-Benz says this car will do 4.4 litres per 100 on the combined cycle, and even without trying, we got 7. With little effort, it's quite conceivable that this car will get down to 5 litres per 100. A lot of that efficiency is down to new technologies like the standard start-stop function, but there's one piece of new kit that doesn't quite work as well as it should. And it is the gearbox, or to give it its full name, the 7G DCT dual clutch transmission. Now, dual clutch gearboxes have been around for a while, so we have a pretty good idea of how they work. But in the B-Class, it doesn't quite feel as good as it should. The shifts, particularly in the low gears, feel more like an old-school automatic. You don't get those smooth, quick shifts that you do from a pair of clutches. But there is something that we can all be thankful about. Mercedes-Benz have seen the light and deleted the most frightful gearbox of all time, the CVT. And both the auto and 6-speed manual come with a very good ride setup. Now, you're not going to chuck a B-Class through the nearest set of corners, but for a car in this class, it is surprisingly agile. The electric steering feels good, and it delivers more than you'd expect without so much fuss. But because Mercedes-Benz is Mercedes-Benz, even if you do decide to behave like Nicole Rosberg, there are more than enough safety systems to help you out. There's more health and safety in one B-Class than there is in the entire United Kingdom, and that's a lot. It starts with obvious stuff like airbags and ABS and brake assist and ESP. It continues with other things like collision warning with adaptive braking, blind spot and lane change assistance, and it's rounded out by pre-safe, an optional system that automatically tightens the seatbelts, closes the windows and sunroof, and moves the electric front seats into the ideal position for the restraint systems when the car detects what Mercedes-Benz calls critical longitudinal and lateral dynamics. In other words, when the car is about to land on its roof. Putting aside the death and destruction for a minute, let's take a look at the interior. It is very dark. Even this slab of tree sandwiched in the middle here doesn't do much to brighten things up. But it's rescued by the design, which comes across as quite avant-garde. It's got the SLS-inspired air vents, and on top of that, a perfectly positioned TFT screen, which is available in 2 sizes. And the ergonomics are straight out of an S-Class. Along with the styling, the interior is what sets the B-Class apart. The good materials and build quality are almost a given, but it's the way everything comes together in here that makes it so good. They haven't skimped on the technology either. This car features a full list of toys, including internet connectivity. None of it comes at the expense of practicality though. Given that its primary role will be a family mover, Mercedes-Benz have made sure there's space and comfort for everyone, and when the time comes to shift stuff, the boot is a useful size even with seat up. The optional Easy Vario Plus system allows for forward and back adjustment of the rear seats, as well as a front passenger seat that folds flat. The Mercedes-Benz B-Class is just that, class. It's a fantastic looking machine with a drive that offers more than you'd expect. It's also got a comfortable and spacious interior, and on top of all of that, a safety list that's as long as both your arms. At the risk of spewing forth yet another motoring journalist cliche, when it comes to the B-Class, B stands for benchmark. A gruff but able turbo diesel delivers decent shove, ensuring capable dynamics, but it's the frugal real-world fuel consumption and low emissions that impressed most. In overall terms, the new B-Class is versatile and sprightly and is loaded with safety features. The dual-clutch gearbox is an improvement to the CVT, but it could be better.